All right, good morning, everyone. Senior Chief Meteorologist Rusty Lord here as we take a look at what's on the way for the start of our week and heading into what looks to be a pretty quiet end of the week. But I do expect some busier weather to start off the week here with humid conditions, some warmth, and we have a cold front that's going to be moving through. So let's dive right into the details and show you how things are looking here for our first alert weather headlines for today. Warm and muggy to start the week, but Tuesday, a cold front's going to move in, run into some of that muggy air and try to spark some storms. Now, noon to 8 is the window for this front to be moving through, but it may take until late afternoon for most of the area to see some storms. I just worry about, as the front's moving into our area, it may try to spark a few a little earlier than anticipated. Right on its entry, but mostly it's going to work with the heat of the day, and then behind it some cooler, less humid air is set to roll in overall for the rest of the week and into this upcoming weekend. So pretty quiet on the satellite and radar right now, and that's really not going to change much today. Some high clouds will stream in. We'll watch for maybe a stray shower to develop. I don't think it's going to be a big problem, but something in our far southeastern counties wouldn't surprise me. Muggy meter stays in the muggy range all day today. That is not going to change into the night either until we can get that front through here later on tomorrow. So you can see some puffy clouds around, the little specks of green on the map. Probably won't be much of anything, just a little feedback with the humidity that's out there. 70s then, let's go back here. I want to show you. I went through that a little too fast. We'll go by 3 o'clock upper 80s, I think about 88 for the afternoon high today, the way things are looking. And then into the evening hours, we'll start to cool down a little bit, and it looks like things will be pretty calm tonight. But as you wait here a little bit, you'll see the storm potential off to the northwest, and that's why I think by about noon we could have some of that in here for Tuesday to watch for. And you can see Tuesday, here's the severe weather outlook for that system that's moving through with the cold front. So storms are possible up here in the green shaded area as early as noon, but it's going to take, as the front drops southeast, it could spark some storms and have a little more energy to work with as it drops a little farther southeast. So Tuesday afternoon, I'm watching mostly a wind and hail threat from the storms. Tornado threat's low, but not impossible. Best odds are probably going to be south of I-80. If they're going to be there, maybe one or two, but overall that's probably not the biggest risk I'm concerned about. Got to watch out for flooding with this as well because the ground is so soaked. There's not a lot of places for the moisture to go. So let me show you the latest with model data here as we go through. As that front dives in, it could spark a storm along it that might be a little bit weaker around the lunch hour, and then we'll wait to see what this front can do for the rest of the day. You can see it doesn't spark much, but I still think anytime it's passing through, it could pop off a couple of storms along it. This model tends to wait until it's down into farther southeast into southwest Iowa if it's going to do anything. Now again, models vary a little bit. This front could easily be back here by 7 o'clock, a little closer to the metro. So we'll be watching how this evolves. So we're going to keep basically anything before about 8 o'clock in our line of sight here, because after that it should drop to the southeast and out of the area. But again, likely going to be a little more spotty, a little more isolated in nature as they move on through in our area anyway, not the solid line of storms until they probably get a little farther to the east. And then it does bring in some less humid air for Wednesday, but it's still going to be able to warm a little bit. And I will say even Tuesday's high temperature, if that front's a little later, that's going to bump the high up a little bit. Latest model runs have come in closer to 90 on Tuesday. I didn't quite go all in yet because there could be some messy clouds ahead and maybe some scattered thunder showers a little bit ahead of the front. But here's the window to watch, the noon to 8 o'clock window. But you can see when odds are the best in that 4, 5, 6 o'clock time frame over much of the area as we build up the heat of the day and use some of that. Then behind that front, look what happens. The muggy meter drops off. Notice the big dip on Wednesday, heading into Thursday, and should be in that refreshing to pleasant range most of the weekend, second half of the week and into the weekend. The way things are looking, and with that cooler temperatures as well. You can see 87 on Wednesday, then 80 on Thursday, 80 on Friday. Look at these overnight lows. I mentioned a while back it would be a little while before we got some lows back in the 50s. We finally have that, it looks like. Let me see when the last time was we actually got a low down in the 50s like that. Some lower 50s should feel pretty refreshing. Wednesday morning and Friday morning, the way it's looking. But overall, lows in the upper 50s, highs in the 80s all the way through the weekend, and then maybe some 70s for the early part of early part of next week. Let me go back and look here. When's the last time we had a low of 53 degrees? We had a low of 53 back on we got down to 50 on the 29th. So about a week ago, it looks like. So the warmth and humidity lasted a while, but it didn't stick around. And you can see the end of it here with this, and some much less humid air is set to work its way in. And notice even heading to the middle of the month, cooler than average may win out at least leading up to that first weekend of the College World Series. I'm a little skeptical if we can keep the cool air around for the College World Series, obviously, but at least signs are pointing towards the cooler air trying to take us into the middle of the month. This might be the very tail end of anything trying to be cooler than average, which, by the way, averages are low and mid 80s during this stretch, so temperatures near 80 would feel pretty darn good over the course of the first half of June. No, Craig, these would be more surface-based ones along the front, especially as they move south. The front will fire off surface-based ones. Usually more elevated ones tend to be more for the overnight hours, more often than not. Check a couple things here. Yeah, I'm still going to have what we need, I think, with that front timing. So yeah, we just have to watch and see how the front moves in overnight and how it evolves for tomorrow morning. I'm worried that it might just be a little messy out ahead of it. Could limit our ability to warm a little bit. So the chances are pretty low there in the afternoon, but they're probably at their greatest in that 4 to 6 window, 4 to 7 for the Omaha Metro, for anything to fire up. Yeah, still looking to be the case. So again, probably won't be a solid line of storms right along the front. It'll be kind of spotty along the boundary as it's moving through. So again, we'll go 12 to 8, but like I said, narrow it down a little bit more for the Metro, probably 4 to 7. Like I said, I think there could be some development out ahead of the front as it's moving in. And that's why I had to bump up the window just a little bit more. I know that seems early around noon, but that's something we'll have to watch as the front marches in. All right. So we'll leave that there for right now, I guess. There's no other questions. Let's see, what else can I add here? Yeah, definitely less humid behind the front. And the severe weather threat drops off significantly with much drier weather and quieter weather at the end of the 10-day forecast. There is not much to be found as far as thunderstorm chances go after Tuesday. Some hints on a couple models that maybe Friday night there could be something. Maybe Tuesday of next week, but overall the pattern dries out a little bit and we'll get a little bit of a chance to dry things up a little bit anyway. Let me, and one of those in case you missed it things I posted on Facebook a little earlier, officially second place for the wettest May on record. Find that graphic here. It's going to go in the books as number 2 because the rain didn't fall over the airport the way we needed it. And yeah, I know we use the airport. A lot of places around the city probably got more. But because the data all the way back to the 1870s, as far as Epley and North Omaha are concerned, that's what we use for the records, and that's how it's going to line up when we go back and look at it. I can look at some of the other totals too. So we got 11.13 in Omaha. Totals for look at Valley, because they keep track of their stuff. They only have about 30 years worth of data out there to go with. They had 11.57 for the month. Lincoln was way short. I don't know what off it had. Again, some of these things records are kept a little better than in other places. Let me see if I can find offits here. Sundays, options. Here we go. Number of hours. Huh. All right. Well, I can't seem to find offit here really quick. So that is where we will leave it for now. So we started off June soggy, but it likely won't finish that way, the way things are looking right now. Be aware of the severe weather threat for tomorrow. Keep an eye on that anytime after noon, although the main window for the metro is probably closer to 4 to 7, that 3-hour window there. And we'll be sure to keep you posted with updates today and through the day tomorrow.